He's got some good questions. Hello, friends. Welcome to SPG News and Views. I'm your co-host, Robert Imbriali, and I'm going to bring my other co-host on in just a moment. I want to say thank you to Kristen for Friday's interview. Boy, oh boy, lots of great reviews. People really loved it. If you have not watched Friday's show, go watch it. Yes, people said, hey, we thought this was going to be a promotion for Pets 24/7, Pet Club 24/7. It was. We talked about that, but there was so much more. People are saying, I'm glad I stuck to it and watched it because there was so much great content there. So thank you for that. And if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. It's still on our channels. All right, let's see Mr. Herms, what he's been up to, what his weekend was like. Mr. Herms, how are you, sir?
How you doing?
Oh my gosh, you sound so good. It's almost like you got a new microphone or something.
Hello there, boom bada bing.
You know, you're using the same microphone now that Tucker was using in that clip.
Well, you know, the reality is I manifested it for him a year ago, and I just decided to use mine now.
There you go.
He's such a follower. I just don't know about that guy.
Oh, you sound so much better. So much more robust.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So a couple things. One is to our audience. Folks, if we bring on somebody and they just happen to have a product, I would hope you have enough trust and faith in us that we're going to bring you amazing content, even though they're going to take 5 minutes and promote their product, right? I wouldn't prejudge because you're going to miss something special usually. And that's a rule of thumb that we tell them, just so you know. And they are very nice, and they do their own digging, and they make their own assessments, and they bring great conversations to us. So, again, this is because you guys come first. So no matter who it is, you're going to find out if they're promoting something, they've already brought great content to the table, and that's a must. Now let's go back to the Tucker interview if we can.
Yes.
Well, we've been saying here, and I went from being annoyed that we disclosed things 3 or 4 years ago to now it's a revelation for everybody.
I'm so with you. I'm so with you.
It's like, come on,
yeah.
What the fuck? Excuse my language. It's just like, come on, guys. So there's clearly a plan. Tucker's part of the plan. He probably had a talking to. It's time to disclose this. With as well connected as I know Tucker was in some of the bad circles that he ran in also, he knew all of this stuff. He's known all of this stuff for years. Joe Rogan's known all of this stuff for years. Russell Brand has known all of this stuff. Elon Musk has known all of this stuff. Let's just stop pretending. Okay? Now, the good news is this is a plan because it's to wake up the normies. They have to slow roll this stuff out. And we have come to find out that our channels are suppressed just because we're so far ahead of the curve, which is we can't be frustrated anymore, Robert. We just have to go with the flow. It is what it is. Clearly, we're not supposed to have the million audience because we would be giving away everything, I guess. I don't know. It's very odd, isn't it, at this point? So, but let's review what Tucker said, because he said a lot of things that are important, which again, I've been saying 99% of the non-elected officials are making all the decisions. And those are the ones that we cannot hold accountable, and this is why we haven't made much traction in a long time. Virtually, Tucker said the same thing, right? 3 years later. So it's important, though, to use these guys to our advantage. Right. So would I like you to forward mine and Robert's stuff all over the place? Yes, I think we've earned it. We have credibility. That would be fantastic. But the reality is, if you forward a Lewis and Robert video with the same information as a Tucker video, they're more likely to open the Tucker video. And we just have to be honest about that. Yeah. So let's really pay attention to who I believe have had a conciliatory moment and a talking to. So let's watch these people that are disclosing this stuff, and let's use it to our advantage. At this point, I'm not feeling they're controlled opposition anymore. I'm feeling they had to pick a side. And now they're on the side of disclosure. So, yes, of course, thank you for that revelation, Tucker, that non-elected officials are running everything, and they're threatening and compromise everything. And Tucker says he has no evidence of that. I don't even believe that. I said, by this time, he probably has evidence that they're being blackmailed.
Well, he wouldn't
Look,
be talking about it if he didn't, right?
yeah, well, look at what's going all over X today. It seems like Bernie Sanders is the one that was caught average than if not. So these people say, I know in the legislature, the people say, I know in the judicial branch, the people say that without through Hollywood and entertainment industry. I don't really have any feelings for you. I think you're weak. I think you lack courage. And you're the reason why we are here today, because you lack the courage to stand up for something. And you turn the blind eye to evil, which is also evil, although I know you justify it as it's not, but you're evil if you turn a blind eye to this stuff.
Well, it's hard for them, right? They've got fame, they've got money, they've got power, they've got all the things all the trappings of this lifetime. And it's hard to say no to all of that. It's like, and it just keeps coming. If you look at the musicians, I mean, the amount of money that they take in is absolutely insane. It's ungodly amounts of money, right? Yep. And they just keep their mouth shut. And now there's more and more of them starting to step up and starting to say something. We're starting to hear more and more of it. But Michael Jackson was talking about this 20 years ago, right? And nobody listened to him back then. Oh, he's crazy. He's nuts, you know.
That's right. Yeah. You've got a lot. A lot of them disclosing.
Yep.
Hey, I just noticed something, and for you conspiracy theorists, that virtually everybody's wearing a mask. Well, look at me right now. If you look right now, something with the shading, it looks like I'm wearing a mask. Look at that. So go ahead and take it. I'll stay right here. You screenshot that so you can post it all over the place that Lewis is wearing a mask. And then now, unfortunately, I'm going to debunk it. What the heck?
It's gone now.
Yeah, I think that's the way I have my light over here. But this is my point that things can change rapidly. So we really need to pay attention to this stuff.
We really do.
We have enough conspiracy theories. We don't really need to add to it. That's kind of what my point is.
Yep. So true. So true. Hey, our show today is sponsored by Midas Gold Group, our buddy Matt Geiger. Give him a call or send him a text at 480-725-0536 or visit MidasGoldGroup.com. Answer all your questions about investing in gold and silver. Is that right for you? Is it something you should do? Hey, how about converting an IRA over to precious metals instead of keeping it stuck in the stock market? These are the kind of questions you have, and he's the guy that can answer them. Now, precious metals are a way to store your wealth. If they're fiat currency, which looks like it is headed down to almost be valueless, that may be something you want to look at. MidasGoldGroup.com. And Matt's a good friend, and we know he's a good guy as well.
He is. Could you put his phone number back on the screen? Because
Sure.
I just had a conversation with them. These are great guys, and you're going to get the best prices from them. Everything we say about them is true, and believe me, I vetted so many gold and silver people. Here's what I just talked to him, and it's very special. Folks, if you don't have the means to purchase gold and silver, right, and you really are in hardship, truly hardship, call Matt, and we have an agreement that he'll send you a free silver coin, full ounce. That's pretty awesome.
It is awesome.
You have to be honorable. And don't be calling him if you have the money to buy a silver coin. This is if you have no money. This is maybe if you're eating 2 meals a day. If you're really struggling, right? This is agreement that Matt and I had. And he's a very special person, and he will honor this. I just talked to him on the phone about this. So this is a beautiful thing, and this is what we like to do here at SBG. We want to give back, but we also ask you to be honorable.
Yep.
And don't make up a fate story. Give him a call, and then he'll try to take care of you.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. I really like working with him, and the more I getting to know him, the more I see the things that he does for everyone. It's fantastic. So give him a call, send him a text, or go visit MidasGoldGroup.com to find out more about what they do for you, what they can do for you.
Yep. And real quick, Janine in chat, she makes a good point, but I'm going to...
I wonder sometimes about, Donald Trump. Does he take a bath and use this for... a sponge?
Yeah, exactly.
Cash. I got cash. I gave him $175 billion in cash. I got more. Where that came from? Like, whoa.
Maybe for toilet paper. I don't know.
I tell you.
You know, it's interesting. It's all over social media right now. There's a hard push, and we've seen this time and time again, and this proves it's totally coordinated to position Joe Biden as the guy, right? So, for example, when Trump's going through these trials, they're saying that they won't let Trump speak because every time he does, his poll numbers drop, which is an absolute lie. It's counter narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say on this trial, nobody from his family has showed up to support him, right? So they don't even like you. That should tell you a lot. He canceled due to weather. He canceled his his North Carolina stop, right?
Right.
And then they superimposed it with Biden would never do that, and he's in the rain. By the way, an open mouth breather. He just walked out on stage to capture the water in his mouth, right? And only 4 of his supporters, because that's all that were there, that actually saw it. So and then they compromised them. Who knows what they got on them? And then of course Trump's falling asleep at the trial, right? But let's look at the real counter narrative. So that's all they got. Trump's falling asleep. He won't speak in the rain, right? Oh, Ashley Biden's diary. The economy is absolutely toast, done, and he has Alzheimer's. Okay. Let's look at the counter narratives there, guys. But they are trying hard with a nothing burger. It must be really hard to be these Biden shills that are doing this.
Yeah.
Because they know they don't have anything. And there's they're really trying to convince you that Trump not speaking in the rain or whatever the weather was in North Carolina is as bad as Ashley Biden saying my father touches me inappropriately in the showers. Gee, I don't.
You went there, Lewis. I saw you went there.
Yeah, I did. There's 2 types of showers. One was golden and one was not.
Oh. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. They're bringing up, the 2016 election, that Trump was trying to cover this up because he wanted to, win the election and win the primaries where they went with it. And I'm like, yeah, he's not kind of the first politician that would cover something up that they didn't want out there, even if he did it. You know what I mean? It's like, hello, that's politics as usual. What's wrong with that? So everybody in Congress, every past president, every one of them would be guilty at this point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of hoping the Supreme Court says that presidents don't have immunity. That's going to be really fun if that happens.
Yeah. Well, we saw today the Supreme Court kind of disappointed us.
You want to go there or you want to wait for after Lisa?
Well, I think because Lisa's on a little bit of a schedule here and we're not, we'll bring her in. Ms. Richards, how are you?
Good, guys. How are you doing?
Good to see you.
Yeah, happy Earth Day, guys.
Must be raining by you because your connection's a little choppy.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No? Okay, well.
No. Does it sound okay?
You sound good.
Now?
You're just out of sync with your lips and you're a little bit grainy, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I just mainly came on real quick to say happy Earth Day. I was going to touch on Lewis's golden showers since he, it's part of Earth Day. The urea is a very good fertilizer.
Thank you very much. See, I care.
You pulled it out. You pulled him out of the fire. Good job, Lisa.
Well, I just wanted to touch on Earth Day a little bit because did you
I'll
know
be right
that
back.
Earth?
I have to water my plants.
Okay. Did you know that Earth Day was created by a Wisconsin senator named Gaylord Nelson? The first Earth Day was actually celebrated in 1970. And according to earthday.org, the first Earth Day led to the creation of course, the United States Environmental Protection Agency. And then, of course, the passage of other environmental laws like the National Environmental Education Act, the Occupational Safety and Health Act, the Clean Air Act, which we all have seen and heard of recently, and of course, the Clean Water Act. But now we can see how these protection acts, were actually created to push an agenda, just like the women's right movement. Our government tugs at our heartstrings and uses it against us. Women thought they were being empowered when in reality, this movement created many broken homes, doubled the income tax for the government, and released our children into the crooked education system to bring their brainwashing or to begin their brain. Now let's get back to Earth Day. So to me, today is not Earth Day. Every day is Earth Day to me. This is our home and this is where our children, it makes me tear up. This is our home. And this is where our children and our grandchildren will remain long after we're gone. And that alone should be a catalyst for you. But what can we do when our government is spraying harmful chemicals in the air, spraying pesticides on our crops, injecting poisons into our animals, so not only their meat is tainted, but a dire resource as well. Their manure, you can't even use their manure without poisoning your food. So we need to take control of our food. We need to take control of our water. We need to take control of our air, just like we need to take control of everything in this world. We can't let them do this to us anymore. So you need to start gathering heirloom seeds, non-GMO seeds, and start growing your own food. With the cost of inflation, I bet if you actually sat down and did the calculations, you would see an astounding savings. Gardening, it does cost you. It's a lot of work. It costs you blood, sweat, and tears, but it's a labor of love. And growing with the intention to provide healthy, nutritious food for your family will infuse that food with even more nutrition than if you were to go to the store and buy it. You actually become part of it, literally. Find a clean source of water. Living water is the best. An untouched aquifer or spring is ideal. If you don't have a living source, then create your own distiller and gather your own pure water. Just make sure to structure it before you drink it. So do things like add some minerals, a dash of Celtic sea salt, and simply pour it back and forth in a container. Kind of shake it up a little bit. It mimics running water. And as you're structuring it, add your intention again. Everything is fueled by your intention. Thank it for bringing life to you. Thank it for bringing nourishment to you. But what can you really do about the air? Some things you can do: grow plants inside your home to purify the air, build a greenhouse to protect your garden from the chemtrails as much as possible. It also protects from the crazy weather that's caused by, them playing around with the weather modification things. So start small. You don't have to get overwhelmed. You don't need a lot of money to build these things. I've seen greenhouses made out of milk jugs, recycled milk jugs. And one last recommendation is to start composting. The real build back better starts with repairing our soil. The introduction of electricity created our soil to be void of nutrients. Before electricity, the wood ash from the wood stove provided minerals and vitamins to the gardens. And then everyone converted to electricity. So no more wood ash. And now they're also damming up the water to create more electricity. So no more minerals tricking from the mountains into the floodplains. All our minerals are actually at the bottom of the dams. So even if you grow all organic, your soil cannot provide all the nutrients you need unless you build the soil back up. So we really are starting from the ground up, guys. We're rebuilding our world into this beautiful new earth that we all envision, and so some things that you can do is utilize red worms for composting. I use chickens, rabbits, things like that, lawn clippings, dried leaves. It's really easy and it's so beneficial. And these are some of the ways that we're going to take back control. Okay. It's time to glow, guys. So let's go. We can do this.
Nice. Thank you, Lisa.
Yes. Hey, Lisa, there's something cool. I think we are making progress. Even mainstream stores now, I have noticed, are selling non-GMO seeds.
Yeah.
So that means people are noticing and demanding that they understand and will not use GMO. So I think that's a huge step I'm seeing in major, like Home Depots and Lowe's and stuff like that. And I was shocked to see them, but they are selling non-GMO seeds now.
That's awesome. That is good news because we are the GMO cesspool in the world. Every other country pushes them out of their country and makes them illegal. And we're like, oh, just bring them all here. So now we're just flooded with them. But you can't regrow a plant from a GMO plant. So they intentionally do that. So you have to use their pesticides. You have to buy their seeds again the next year. So just find heirloom and you'll have plants the rest of your life by saving the seeds afterwards.
Right. And there's a question, how do you know that they're not GMO? That they are really not GMO? You really don't, except for if you research the companies. I'm looking, they seem to be small independent companies, so it seems to be a lot more trustworthy than any. Like if it said Monsanto on it, I would throw it away, probably yes, burn it and put it in a hyperbaric chamber so it wouldn't get out into the. It's just, Oh my God.
Yeah, demons would probably emerge if you burn it or something.
Oh,
something
hey,
would come
yeah,
out of it.
that's right.
But there's also, which I'll go into another time, but if you know about ORMUS, or orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements, some people refer to it as white powdered gold. Some people are saying if you use those to grow your produce with, it will actually revert GMOs back to a healthier state.
Really?
I don't know. I've heard that. I haven't tried it, but
that's
yeah.
something to look into. Yeah. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk to everybody later.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right. Whoa. Okay.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, you had brought up the SCOTUS decision and said you have a different opinion on it. This was Mike Lindell, Kerry Lake, and Fincham, Mark Fincham.
Yep.
That brought this to the Supreme Court. They had found that in the voting machines there were, the keys were in there. They were just in text files, the encryption keys, so you could decrypt, you could get in. These machines had no passwords, and it just went on and on and on. And basically said this is a slam dunk. It'll be 9-0. And the Supreme Court today said, well, this is Lindell's statement on this. The American people deserve facts, transparency, and truth in how elections are conducted in this country. The Kerry Lake and Mark Fincham case was dismissed based on a purported, here we go, lack of standing to assert an injury. Therefore, the courts even now have not ruled on the merits of our case. We will continue to raise these issues, especially in light of the upcoming 2024 election. What say you, Mr. Herms?
Okay, so here's my concern with that case. It didn't appear to have the documentation that proves the account. So they were just saying it. And there's absolutely receipts. There's 100%, and they call them receipts, by the way. They're physical receipts, right? Mm-hmm. And stolen at the precinct level. All right, Michelle Swinick showed all of it. So they have it. None of all the stuff that Michelle Swinick has was presented in this suit. And that's hard evidence, physical hard evidence. Yes. And it seems to me that often these suits are always lacking something. Therefore, it gives the judges an out to say something like that. So I'm very curious, and I would ask Fincham and Kerry Lake especially, not Lindell, because he may not be familiar with this, because I know he's more on the digital side of things, according to people I talk to, but they certainly do. And I know for sure Kerry Lake and Abe Hamaday has had this supposedly physically in their hands. So why is that not included in this? That would absolutely show hard evidence. That's the question we have to start asking, guys.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me. Yeah. I'm just saying, right? If they're truly on our side and not just talking a good game, why would they lack probably the most important evidence that they could supply in this lawsuit? Is that not a fair question?
Well, I think your answer is pretty clear as you see the infighting in our community, right? And everyone wants to be the one who gets it and is the one that turns things around. And there's just not a lot of sharing, and there really should be. We should all be coming together on this rather than each one of us trying to fight in our own corner. And you see a lot of that going on in all corners of this truther community. And it's a little bit sad at this point because we believe united we stand, and we're not united. We're actually very divided.
Funny enough, that's what Herms Bring Us the Heat is about today.
Is it really?
Didn't even know that. See, we're on the quantum thinking level.
Didn't know that. And then Lisa said my head was too big, and I said, you have no idea, Lisa. And so I had to back the camera off a little bit. Just try to buy a hat for this head. No hats fit. That's just the way it is. Okay. Let's go here, because why not? If you haven't been over to Screw Big Gov, go over there, go have a look. You want to keep up with Lewis. As I mentioned Friday, Lewis likes to drive with the pedal all the way to the metal. That's the way he runs his life. He's always doing 100 things at once, but you can keep up with him here, screwbiggov.com. Find out what swag he's got going on and find out how to get him on social media, because that is not an easy task sometimes. A lot of people cloning his accounts. You get popular, you got an opinion, people seem to like what you have to say, your accounts get cloned. There's a lot of fakes out there. And, there's a lot of fake emails going on. Lewis and I will not DM you directly in any of the social media, asking for money especially. So if you get those, please delete them. They are spam. We don't do that. We don't reach out in that way. So just so you know, you're following the correct channels, click on that social media link. And if you want to follow me, I am on Telegram at Renegade Media. And I've been posting up a storm on the weekend as a lot of stuff has been happening. So I'm sharing a lot of things here with you. And you can email me, robert@renegademedia.tv. And I thank you guys who are emailing me because a lot of good stuff coming in the email. I really appreciate it. All right.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of information on these cloned accounts for Screw Big Gov, and it's really hard. We're well over 100 now, and I can tell you what platforms they're on. Every single platform except Trump Social. I mean, sorry, Truth Social.
Truth Social. Yeah.
It's Trump Social. Trust me. It's everything on Truth Social. It's all about Trump. So it's hard for me to go on there anymore. You know what I mean? Just because unless I want to get information about President Trump, it doesn't seem very viable to me.
Well, that's the kind of the way
I don't want to
promoted.
hurt feelings again, people. Here I go hurting feelings again because we get stuck in our indoctrination. And we shouldn't do that, right? But that being said, that's the only one. In fact, X has been loaded with them lately, and we're trying to send them in and have them taken down, and they're actually getting money from people and asking for money, and it's really, really sad. So, but why are we attacked? We must be doing something right.
Well, as they say, we're a little bit over the target, aren't we?
I guess I'm just, that's the only thing. That's my solace. Maybe I'm fooling myself, but that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't make any sense that it would be so hot and heavy. And people are actually in my DM mad at me. I'm like, it's not me. And they're mad at me that I haven't got them taken down quicker. I go, how can I get them taken down quicker? We report them. What else can we do? I can't physically go into their accounts and do anything.
Yeah.
Can't block them.
Yep.
Right? So unless you can teach me a better way to do it, we'll handle it. But it is rampant right now.
No, I see a lot of things posted in Renegade Media from Renegade Media. And as soon as I see them, I take them down. But it's just constant. It's like 4 or 5 a day being posted in there. Hey, come visit this chat room. Go here, go there. Come visit this website. Hey, donate some money. I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah. We know on our videos today, you'll see the comments and somebody will be replying as if they're Robert or as if they're me. And it'll go something like this. Hey, guys, I hope you liked the content today. Hey, if you want to contact me here directly. Yeah. Yep. Well, and sometimes we don't get past them and delete them enough. So at least you're hearing it. That's the type of we don't do that. We won't do that. I tell you right here, if you want to email us, it's screwbiggov@protonmail.com. Screwbiggov@protonmail.com. In fact, to give you an idea, I'll tell you what I'm looking right. So a little teeny project, I wouldn't call it a project, that I'm doing is I want to reintroduce to the normies back all the posts that were going on 3 to 4 years ago that helped you wake up. So it'll be called Flashback for Normies. So send to screwbiggov@protonmail.com any of the old stuff. So Isaac Cappy, anything on adrenochrome or Hollywood or SRA or MK Ultra, anything going on that you saw in Congress or any around the world, all those famous little clips and videos that we saw, send them to me. And I'm going to start putting them out on all social media platforms and reintroduce these to the public. But so we don't get confused, it'll say Flashback for Normies on it.
Yeah. And you're seeing a lot of that happen now. It's like we get frustrated sometimes. We see it. It's like, oh, come on. We knew about this 3 years ago. It's not for us. It's for the normies coming up. And that's a good idea because they do need that.
Right. It is a real good idea.
Yep. Good job, Lewis. All right. This is Trump Social. Haha.
Yes.
Just so everyone knows, the special traffic ostensibly comes back to Facebook. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes that you don't know. It's not just about banning TikTok. Okay, they stuck it in this Ukraine bill, got it, but now they have a year to get the Chinese investors out of there, which apparently are not that much. Very small percentage apparently of TikTok is owned by Chinese. Who knows?
Yeah, they're gonna. I'm not even worried about that. That's just as you probably know. That's just it's semantics, propaganda, demonizing, all that stuff. I do find it interesting though. Elon Musk today pointed out that the largest.
Somebody else posted and he picked it up. I think he reposted or retweeted it or re-X'd it. I don't know how you call it now. Re-Xing?
Yeah, he re-X'd it.
It's not my X, it's my re-X. I don't know. The vocabulary sometimes in the technical world is kind of funny. Interesting stuff. All right. We talked about Pet Club 24/7 on Friday. We're just going to give you a quick little update here. How are the boys doing?
Oh, okay. So it's so funny you'd say that. My wife over the weekend came up with a new name for our 17-year-old German Shepherd. He's on the right. She calls him now Benjamin Button, because if you remember, Benjamin Button would age backwards. Mm-hmm. So she goes, honey, look at Benjamin Button. I go, what are you talking about? And then I caught on, right? And she says, because he's literally running around the house now. This guy couldn't even get out of his bed a year ago, right?
That's incredible.
I know. So she called him Benjamin Button. She goes, oh my God, he's going to be alive forever. It was funny.
Kristen shared that she's getting thousands of letters from people who are using this food with their pets, and the results are amazing. Everything from all kinds of ailments that these pets have, which are coming from the commercial foods, right? Because you look in the wild and these animals don't get these illnesses. These are human illnesses, or diabetes and all this other stuff. And she went one step further, which I thought was really interesting, because you see torn ligaments in dogs a lot of times. Where they have to go for these $3,000 to $5,000 surgeries. Our dog had to go through that. It's a real pain for the dog and for the recovery and all the rest of that. And she says, guess what? When you start feeding them this food, within a month or so, that actually heals. You avoid the surgery.
Yeah. So they did inadvertently, they did a test in, I believe it was Tennessee, where this couple always had these deer that were coming on from the forest that would come onto their land, constantly onto their land. And they thought it was really cool. So what they started to do is they got food from the store and they started feeding it, pellets for them to eat, probably the same thing goats would eat or whatever.
Right.
And they're feeding it for months and months and months. And next thing you know, these wild deer have all these illnesses. Mm. So then they brought in people to start testing it, and they directly correlated to the food that they purchased. Like the wild animals had no issues, and suddenly they had a ton of issues. And they were just thought it was wonderful. And they would get so many hundreds of deer because the word got out within the deer community. They talk a lot that this is the way to get food, and they would come out here. And it's very interesting that they actually, of course, that story got buried.
Yeah, but
it was a true story.
You want to find out more about the pet food, just look for the link in the description of the video on the channel you're watching right now, and it'll be there, and you can go check it out. As I mentioned, it's a good idea to try it with your pet. Try it for 30 days. If you don't notice a difference, it didn't work, but that's rare. Most often you will see more energy. You'll see your pet more vibrant. Certainly the coat changes. It's a lot softer, a lot oilier. It's just the way it should be, right? It's coming back into a natural balance, and this mushroom that they harvest specifically for this is as close to a miracle as you're going to get for a lot of the ailments that these animals sort of encounter these days. So Pet Club 24/7, go check it out. Good, you're going to like it. I love it. All right, January 6th committee. Guess what they're afraid of?
Exposure.
They're afraid that if Donald Trump gets back in power, they're going to jail. Oh, yeah. Gee, I wonder why.
Wonder why, and why would they be public about it?
House Democrats who led an investigation, this is from Breitbart, into former President Donald Trump's role in the January 6th Capitol riots, say they are worried about their safety and being arrested if the former president wins re-election. They fretted to CBS News in a recent piece about a March 18 Trump post on Truth Social, or Trump Social as we like to call it, that said Representative Liz Cheney from Wyoming should go to jail along with the rest of the unselect committee. Adam Schiff, who has consistently fundraised off of all Democrat investigations and impeachments of Trump, told the network, "My wife and I have had conversations about what life would look like if the worst happened. You can't avoid the conversation about what if, and I have to think about my own personal safety." Woohoo! They're afraid. I love it.
Yep. I think that's Shift 2.0, by the way. Everybody asks me when I think that. I think he's another one.
Yeah. Pendulum always goes in two directions. It doesn't keep going in the same direction. It's not a circle, right? It goes to one point, it stops, and something happens, and it starts going back the other way. This is what I could look forward to. If it starts going back in the other direction, I'd be happy with that. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think it's bound to go back in the other direction. Although again, I do think a lot of this stuff is calculated and planned.
Yeah.
They intentionally gave them so much rope. They did what they did, and now they're all going down.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful thing.
Which is what I see in Congress this weekend with the voting the money for Ukraine and then cheering with the Ukrainian flags. It's an exposure. That's all it is. I'm not upset about it at all because I see it as like, okay, now we know who are the ones who are compromised, who are the ones who are taking over, who are the ones maybe all of them are benefiting from sending money to Ukraine. Because Ukraine is just a U-turn. It goes there and it comes right back. It doesn't stay there. I mean, you spent more money in Ukraine in the last year than you spent on the U.S. Navy, just as an example. And you have nothing to show for it. Like, yeah, the money's not going there, clearly.
And well, I think what this shows, and this is part of the awakening, I believe, is this shows we can send all this money to Ukraine. We can send all this money to Israel, right, to protect them and ultimately to protect their borders. But yet we can't take 1% of all that money and just finish the wall.
Counter narrative. It's not what they want.
Nah, so it's intentional. So everybody should know by now. Everybody that voted for that bill, by the way, including all the Republicans, and there was a shitload of them.
121 was it? It was a big number. 118 or something. It's crazy. Yeah.
So everybody that voted for that bill wants your borders open.
Yep.
Just be clear about that.
Yep.
There's really no two ways about it. There's not a counter discussion to that. If they vote for that bill, they want your borders open. They prioritize that over what's going on at the border.
It's frustrating when you look at it just on the surface and you don't really understand the bigger game. Because you're like, what are we sending another, $60 billion over there? We've already sent them 130 billion. It's like now we're up to 200 billion. That's a big amount of money. But guys, it's not going there. It's not the goal. And he signed how many executive orders now to have the Border Patrol back off and just become, literally the concierge, letting people in? He has all the authority to do anything with that border. He could shut that down in a heartbeat. One executive order, boom, done. No. But he keeps trying to tell you he doesn't have authority.
No, it's all intent. Yeah. So, and this has got to be part of the awakening because it's so freaking blatant.
It is.
It is just amazingly blatant.
Yeah, and when you see stuff like this happening in Congress, this is crazy.
Ukrainian flags.
So they're all waving the Ukraine flag in U.S. Congress. You wouldn't know it was the U.S. Congress. They were handing out the flags. They were all celebrating. And the only thing I could think of, they're celebrating because they know money's flowing back to them. You vote for it, you're going to get paid. Something that $60 billion is a lot if you chop it up amongst the 200 or so that are in there. It's a lot of money coming back.
60 billion once. Count all the other times that they've already done that.
Yeah.
And in fact,
and then the number doesn't include all the weapons that we've sent there, which the Ukraine took and then put on the market and sold.
That's right.
They didn't
we would get kickback from the military industrial complex for that too. So this is self-feeding, guys. I'm investigating right now something Michelle Swinick said because it's very, very powerful. She said, and I'm trying to find out if this is the same in every city, county, and state, that if you're running for office, you get paid the salary as if you were in just by running. If that's the case, that is one of the scariest propositions I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Ever, because it's more important for you just to run than win. So you can run every year.
I told you it's a shortcut to being a millionaire. Guys, if you want to know how to become a millionaire, just run for office.
You've said this for over a year, Robert.
Yeah,
you've been disclosing the money laundering and the U-turn of all the money that goes everywhere comes right back. I mean, they're showing in Congress right now, they're showing that a pretty much a bag of washers that at the maximum, if there were special washers that were blessed by God, would be sold for $100.
Yeah.
And they were sold to the U.S. government for $90,000. That's all kickback. So
Yep.
that means $89,900 were used to kick back to somebody.
Payola. Everyone gets a little piece of the action. Yep.
Scary.
Yeah. Well, it's the world we're living in right now. It's just, and all of us need to be paying attention to this. And, part of my work going forward is going to be, okay, how do we win, right? How do we turn the corner here? Because this is more of the same. And you've got to get out of the space of being upset about it. And Lewis and I do a great job of not getting upset about it. We kind of look at it from a pragmatic standpoint, but not everybody's there. There's actually somebody on our team who has a very emotional reaction to some of this stuff. And it's like, we got to keep pulling back off the edge. Come back. It's not so bad, And
Not real. Everything's not real.
Everything's not real, exactly, and you can't take it as such, and you've got to maintain that calm poise and focus on what matters here. So we're going to do that. All right, are you ready to light things up, Mr. Herms?
I like to light things up.
All right, I'm going to throw a log on the fire, and you hit the match. Go.
Perfect. Oh, folks, do we have enough with truther versus truther drama right now? In fact, I can even tell you right now in the chat, people are talking about it. Wow. There is a massive amount of truthers and podcasters exposing each other as patriots, P-A-Y-triots, controlled opposition, and much more. In just the last soap opera that is making its rounds right now, I've had 8 separate text messages from podcasters asking for my opinion on the said situation. Now notice, I'm not naming names of the peeps involved in this drama. In fact, my latest response when a truther I actually really like, asked for my opinion on an interview exposing truthers was as follows. I said, quote, I haven't watched it. I won't watch it. I hate this shit. All I care about is evidence. Is there actual evidence or just some dude saying there is? Now, do I fault the podcasters doing these disclosures? Some, yeah, I think they have bad motives, but not all. As some probably feel they're doing a great service, and I get that. I would only suggest, though, that the evidence is solid when trying to take down a fellow truther, because a lot of these truthers would be perceived as one of our own, right? So that being said, let me propose a bigger picture. Consider this. What if the darkness is behind most of this craziness? I can tell you personally, the infighting just within my close network is off the chain right now. What if all this patriot infighting had nothing to do with the principles involved and everything to do with the calculated dividing of you, we the people? What's their goal? Well, let's get them patriots community taking sides. I'm on Team Jane. Oh, well, I'm on Team John. Huh. Is that not rule number 1, guys, in the deep state cabal handbook, is to divide you? Sadly, it appears it's working. So again, everyone, just take a deep healing breath and realize that right now, if we forward these posts or we pick a side and react against those who disagree with us, it is exactly what the dark forces would want from you. Are we not in a spiritual war? Wouldn't the baddies want us all divided? Of course they do. So stop feeding the enemy and just ignore this crap, this drama, this junior high school BS, and let's stay focused and united. We've got this. Why? Because God's got this.
Should I put the fire out now? Are we done?
Sure.
Good job. I like that. We do got this. It is very true. And that is the message. You and I are symbiotic a lot of times. Symbiotic, or
yeah,
maybe that's
one of my favorite words of all time.
Yeah, we tend to be on the same plane a lot, on the same page on a lot of this stuff, and it is true. It's like we see it in our community. It's like, we talk about being united, and everyone in the community talks about it. And where's the unitedness? I'm not seeing it. you know? No, it's my channel. Come build my channel. No, come build my channel. No, come over to my channel. Come on, really, guys? Oh, I've got the scoop. I'm not going to share the scoop with you.
I know. Yeah. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I need the clicks. They're not getting it. And here's my biggest frustration with this, Robert. I talked to my wife about this. I said, let's assume we all believe in the ascension process, whether that ascension process is closer to Christ or whatever your spiritual realm that you work in, your crystals, whatever. That's, again, another division, by the way. Right now, we should all come together, take out this evil, and then we can worry about, do we want to use crystals or Christ? That's fine. But to argue about that now, that's another division, in my opinion. So we need to be better. It's all about we the people. So if we want to latch in on to all this stuff, and we want to forward it, and we want to create this division and this drama within this community, I don't know, maybe you're part of the problem, not the solution, right? Because a lot of this is just drama. And is that not, if we're going to so-called ascend, shouldn't we ascend past this drama? Mm-hmm. Shouldn't we operate in love?
Yep.
I'm just saying.
We had the me generation in the 80s. And I think we need to step into the we generation now. What do you think?
I totally agree with you.
Because it's too much of this, siloing, and where it's like it's my channel, my thing, my scoop, my this, my that, me, and there's a lot of nouveau fame throughout this whole COVID thing too, where people who've never done shows before and never done anything, all of a sudden they've got a channel and they've got thousands of followers, and they're just like, and they don't know how they got there, and nor will they open it up or share with anybody. They're like, it's their way, and it's like they're very myopic about it. And that's really, we need a lot less of that at this point. So one of our Patriot friends today was sharing names of people that he interviewed on his show recently, and he says, here their contact information, contact them. This is what we need to do more of. And I said, I'll do the same thing. Anyone we had on our show that you'd like, I'll make sure to make the connection, the introduction for you. That's what we need more of, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree with this. It's so easy. So if it comes down to it, and 2 years from now, everything is just amazing, and nobody mentions my name again, or I don't even have a so-called podcast, and I'm living in a box somewhere on the streets of Los Angeles, right?
Under the railroad tracks, yes.
Yeah, under the railroad tracks. But that would be by choice, because 2 years, if everything's fixed, that wouldn't be an issue anyways.
That's right.
But the point being is, if my name's never mentioned again, it's awesome that we were part of this big win, right? Mm-hmm. So people need to stop being so myopic right now. And it's about me. It can't be about me. It's definitely we, and it's we the people, and that's all that we should consider. So we can even use controlled opposition to our advantage. We've been talking about this for years and years. Absolutely, we can use controlled opposition to our advantage. So just put out the good things that they say and ignore the bad things, right?
Yep.
Unless they say something completely stupid, like Tom Fenton did over the weekend, that towers got hit by planes and fell down because Saudis took them down. Well, that's clearly controlled opposition. So I pointed out. But guys, they're trying to take down the truther community right now, the dark forces. And again, I'm not blaming the people that are doing these exposures. I'm more concerned about everybody that is forwarding all this stuff and keeping on it incessantly and obsessively. It's dangerous. It's real dangerous, because it takes us off of task.
Right. And, we have to be careful, too, because there are people who forward us stuff, and we may not always know, because I put my email address out there and I say forward me stuff, and there's all kinds of stuff that comes in. We don't know sometimes if that is put there in the hopes that we'll pick it up to spread that disinformation. So we do a lot of vetting, and don't feel bad if you send me stuff and I don't use it. It just meant I wasn't able to find anything to corroborate. And that's okay too. It's like, as we sort through it, we're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect, but we do strive to keep that bar pretty high. And Lewis says, boy, we got the bar pretty high. I said, yeah, we do. And we're going to keep it there. And in fact, we're going to raise it as much as possible, because we want to be that way with you. We want to be authentic and honest. And, Lewis and I, it's kind of interesting. We don't really have the ego thing going on. And that's why, oftentimes you'll see, partners will come together and they'll do a show like this, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 they start fighting, and it's an ego game. It doesn't happen here. It's just not here. There's just no element of that. I say, Lewis, this is what I'd like to do on the show. No problem. He comes to me. He's like, this is what I'd like to do. No problem. And, you know, it's just, that's the way it needs to be. And we'd like to set the model for that for other people to follow.
Yep. Agreed.
All right. Enough pontificating and putting the focus on us today. Dr. David Martin is warning about the next battle that we're going to fight. This is all right. So this is big.
It is. Here's what I say. It is, and it isn't. This is another thing we have to watch closely.
Right.
But if I'm correct, this takes a 2/3 vote in Congress, and then it has to be ratified by the Senate and then signed off by the president. I don't think that's going to happen. Even with our corrupt Congress, I think the people would bust down their doors if they understood the ramifications of this. So I appreciate Dr. Martin bringing it to the table and bringing it to us. But this has no leverage, no teeth, no execution whatsoever without a 2/3 vote, if I'm correct, in the Congress, because you're literally.
You are correct if they follow the law. The positing that is going on now is they're not.
Yeah, but it won't. I think there will be such an uproar about that. It will. That I believe would get shut down by the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
I believe, because they've now, remember, I believe the reason why they didn't take up this election deal is because the evidence that they know is there wasn't even presented in here. That's a concern. Honestly, that's a concern from the Kerry Lake and Fincham team.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's not a concern of the Supreme Court. It's being turned by the Patriots right now that this is a concern of the Supreme Court. This is one time I give them a pass, because I know there's a lot more evidence that can be presented up front, saying we've got this and this and this proof, which was not in there.
Right.
And I know people that know us, and probably Juan and other people would be upset that I say that, but I'm not going to play the game, because they have more evidence than they're even letting on knowledge of. Therefore, I believe if for some reason Biden just signed this, which he, by the way, he cannot legally again do that, but let's say he did, I believe this would go right to the Supreme Court, and they would shut this down, because I believe it's a 2/3 vote and an amendment, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I don't know about the amendment, but to sign a treaty like that, yeah, you need the congressional approval and the Senate approval on it, and so much of it's just been coming across with executive orders. Screw the rule of law, we're just going, and there's been nobody contesting any of it, which is why people are saying, hey, he could go ahead and do this. This is supposed to come up toward the end of May. They're ratifying it now, and the final version of it will be in May. So
we'll watch this, because
Yeah.
by the way, they were supposed to put this through originally in March,
Yeah.
and it didn't go through.
Yeah. Then they had to change a few things and that kind of thing. And so they're going now to see where it's going to show up. We're at the end of May, what the final will look like. I'll be interested to see what it looks like. And I think one of these things is challenging, because them yada, yada, yada. And if you remember, under Donald Trump pulled the $450 million that we send to WHO, he pulled out of it. He said, we're not following you anymore. And Biden on day one reattached us to it. That should tell you everything you need to know.
But is that optics again? Was that faux Biden?
Yeah.
Who knows, right?
Yeah, we don't know. We're fighting the good fight, Lewis. We're in there, and we're trying to, make heads or tails out of it all. And some people go, well, how come you don't know this? How come you don't know that? It's like, it's one of these things. We're trying to figure out the world that's in front of us, and we don't have a complete puzzle. We have pieces here, there, and everywhere. We're trying to fit them together, and there's too many gaps sometimes to jump from one to the other to really know how it's working. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to. Some of our sources have a little bit of information, but even that doesn't give us the full picture, right? So we're all doing the best we can in this.
I agree. If somebody tells you they know everything that's going on, they're either very arrogant, or they're an insider that is treasonous to this country, because we're fighting a battle, and there's a plan that's going on. So we always, on purpose, we say, hey, it looks like this, but we don't know, because you don't know, folks. And by the way, if you don't understand at the exact same time, you need to just take a break and come back, until you can understand that there's massive psyops, and this is an informational war, it's a spiritual war. My wife and I were talking about this weekend, is the darkness is coming after myself and our team and everybody around us like holy crazy right now.
Yep.
It's amazing what we're seeing with inside of our group right now. This is darkness, and they're coming after us for a reason, because I think we are on the 1 yard line, about ready to score that touchdown and be done with it.
Yeah.
So
and we're very close. That tipping point's going to be everything. When we hit it, things are going to really roll in the other direction pretty quickly, because the pendulum's going to be at the top. And then it's not going up anymore. Now it's coming back down. It comes down a lot faster than it goes up. So, that's the good news in all of this, is like when it does flip, it's going to flip quickly. And a lot of this stuff's going to be really flushed away. We won't even remember half of it. We're going to have to go back, Lewis, and look at our old videos here and go, wow, I forgot all about that. You know what I mean? Where did all this go? Yeah.
We're about ready to be drinking from a fire hose, I believe.
I think so. Do you know this company Sheets? Ever heard of them?
Do they sheets all over themselves?
Sheet all over themselves. Yeah, exactly. Well, they're a gas station and convenience food store. My brother's always going there. He sends me pictures of the gas prices in North Carolina. So it's a chain of gas stations and convenience stores primarily located in the Mid-Atlantic. And on April 18th, the U.S. Equal Opportunity Employment Commission announced that it had filed a lawsuit against Sheets, accusing the 24/7 convenience store chain of having discriminatory hiring practices that targeted minority applicants. According to the lawsuit, Sheets has maintained a long-standing practice of screening all job applicants for records of criminal conviction and then denying them employment based on those records. So Elon Musk replied, the Joker is running things when the law-abiding are being prosecuted by the government for not hiring criminals. Oh, brother. Can't make some of this stuff up.
It's incredible. So the laws are intentionally being twisted. By the way, this is one of the leaders in this plan is George Soros. A lot of people don't know, and how he was installing. Again, remember, they worked from the top down, not the bottom up.
Right.
Back in the day, the mafia used to work from the bottom up, and it got very expensive from them because they would buy up all the lower level police officers and so on and so forth. Finally, they're like, well, we don't care if we get arrested as long as we're not put in jail. Therefore, they started buying up the chief of police and the judges and so on and so forth. Soros has seen that game plan work extraordinarily well. So he gets the assistant DAs and the DAs, the ones that actually do the prosecution, and then he gets the lawmakers, the ones that write the laws. And extraordinarily effective. So good example, let's pull this right over to California. So I believe it's if you steal something under $949, you're not prosecuted.
Right.
Well, now it's coming out. That's not ever. That's not in 1 month, 1 week, or 1 day. That's per incident.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you can make a living walking into stores and stealing $949 worth of merchandise, and then walk out of the store, walk into another one and another one and another one. Theoretically, they said you could probably even walk back into the same store if you just separated by a few minutes.
There was a lady who did that. It was a video that popped up last week as she went into the dollar store, filled up her shopping cart, walked out completely uncontested, dumped it all into her car, came back in, filled it up again, did the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's 949 items.
That's a lot of items.
Yeah, I saw something that indicated, if I'm correct, it was really smart, is that every place in California should mark their prices at $950 and then give them a massive discount when you come to the register to purchase it.
There was a guy who did that. There was a guy here in California that did exactly that. Everything was $951. Yep.
So he took the advice.
He took the advice.
That's great.
Didn't last very long, but yeah, he tried it.
I think I would have kept it. Say, your discount's at the register. In fact, you can put even the discount. Here's what you'll get off on this one.
99% off, because this is only worth $1. Okay, exactly. Good for you. Oh, brother. All right, we have some WTF moments. I think this is the one you shared with us. Pretty funny.
Your wife Who's one other woman y'all gonna have a threesome with? You can pick anyone in the world. There's just one person. I think I know what you're thinking, but I'm not even gonna say no names. I just want to see what you would think.
Michelle Obama. Gotta fuck the president's wife.
All right. Tell us about that, Lewis. What do you know?
Well, clearly he would be banging the president's husband,
That's
not
right.
wife. Anyways, so
Why doesn't he know that, though? That's really interesting.
I think he does know that. I don't know. I can't even imagine, right?
Maybe, yeah.
I think what he's saying here is he's just taking it to the highest level he possibly can in his mind. Like, what would be the most outrageous, right?
Yep.
Notice he didn't say Melania Trump, right?
True.
He's smarter than that.
Yep.
That wouldn't work out well for him.
It's all about the clicks, Lewis. It's just the clicks. That's what it's about.
Yeah. I think this is just another type of exposure, bringing exposures to it. Like, so if later somebody can say, well, why would you want to do that? You go, because I would want to see what the package was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I believe this is the way this stuff is going to come out. What I am learning, which I think is pretty exciting, is the rap community is starting to organize together to come after the Democrats and everybody that lied to them. And they may not even support Trump, but they certainly are going to come after the Democrats. It's going to be very interesting to watch, because the community is as a whole now seems like they're realizing that they've been used and set up, right, to do this. So we'll see what happens.
We will. We have one more for you, but before we go there, let's talk about SBGAscent.com. And this is a pine needle extract, which promotes a respiratory function, immune system, nervous system health, and supports a healthy detoxification process. Go check out SBGAscent.com. Lance will be joining us this Friday. He'll be on our Friday show. And I don't know which product he's going to talk about. I told him to pick one that he really likes. But this is one Lewis and I both love the flavor of, because it tastes so good. And it helps you when you've been exposed to things that you shouldn't be exposed to, unnatural things like spike proteins. That's what that really became popular for.
I even used it in my tea this weekend.
Did you?
It was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. I used it a lot after being at NAB last week, because you're exposed to all kinds of people there. And I shook everyone's hands, and you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah.
You did. I watched.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even let them scan me.
You were unscannable.
So, oh, no. I was the rebel. So we were there, and they want to scan you, right? And I'm like, nope, you're not scanning it was my badge. They wanted to get the barcode on my badge. We go, nope, thank you. One poor lady, remember, she's like, but you're the first person that said no to me all weekend.
I told one woman, it feels so good to be scanned. Please scan me again.
Oh my God.
No. They love it. This is a parody, not a real video, just so you know. Sarcasm.
You know, the real climate change happens in my pants whenever I see President Donald J. Trump dancing in his rallies. I mean, Dios mío! President Trump es mucho caliente. My pants are on fuego. Muchas gracias, amigos.
Oh my Lord.
There's some weird stuff out there, you know?
Yeah. Are you sure it's parody? Because I think she's an actress. So
She is an actress, yeah. No question.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'll tell you, one of the fellows I sat through a demo with at the NAB show, he didn't have anybody coming to his booth at all, and I felt kind of sorry for him. I'll sit through a demo, watch your program, your software. So he goes through this demo, and he's just showing me all this stuff and how you can manage your movie crew and your cameras and your lighting guys and find out where all your employees are. Really kind of nice, but certainly nothing we would need for what we're doing here. At the end of the demo, he says, oh, I have one more thing to show you. He takes a little clip, somebody speaking in English, and he says, watch this. Click. Now he makes them speak in Spanish. Translated using the same tone and pace as the original speaker.
Wow.
So I told him, you got to take that pull it out of the software and make that available. So now he contacted me. He says, we're going to do that. We think it's good. I said, good, because I really want to hear Louis speak perfect Spanish and doing the news.
So does my wife.
Yeah.
So does my wife.
We'll be able
sure.
to do that. I think that'll be really cool. He brings that software along. I'm sure we'll get a demo of it and be able to, run it through. And Spanish speaking, what's SPG in Spanish? It'll be kind of cool.
Do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oye, huevo simulcast. Ay, Dios mío. Let's talk about our guests before we go. So tomorrow, I will be on Nicholas Veniaman's show, and we are going to have probably an open debate about Michael Flynn, good or bad, right? Because the whole thing goes back and forth. I think Veniaman is a Flynn fan, but he called me over the weekend, and he said, "Can we talk about this?" And I said, "Let's do it." I said,
"On the air, yeah."
Well, I'll be the bad guy. I go, most people understand that I'm indifferent on Flynn, so I'll probably show both sides of what I see with Flynn. So that'll be interesting. And then tomorrow at the same time as our program here, I'll be on tomorrow at 3:00. And then shortly thereafter, our friend Michael Jaco will be joining me, and we'll have a great show with Michael Jaco tomorrow. And I know he's being harassed big time as a patriot and this, and it's just ridiculous. So I might even dive into that a little bit with him. And then sometime next week, this week, I've been invited. I'll be a guest on Mel Carmine's show, which will be fun. And then Friday, as you know, we have Lance Shuttler on Friday. Again, he'll bring the heat. He always does. And then we'll talk a little bit about nutrition. And then on Saturday, what's going on Saturday, Robert?
Oh, we have a little thing that we like to do every 90 days or so called the Truthathon. And we've got a guest list that is stellar already, and we haven't added everyone on there yet, but it's looking great. I had a peek at it on the weekend. It's like, woo, we're getting a nice list. So it'll start around 9 a.m. Pacific, which is 12 noon Eastern, and we'll run throughout the day. So pop in, pop out, and join the chat and be part of it. And there's a lot to be learned. A lot of these truthers will bring the heat, as it were. I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, I can tell you we have a ton of guests on there. It's going to be amazing. I can tell you who confirmed today with me. Kim Yater, Sean Wilson, which is from the border, and Ian Giannon all confirmed today. So we have a bunch. I think we have about 30 guests, and
already.
It was and some huge names. In fact, we have to contact Bruce because I'm hoping Bruce can simulcast with us, and he has somebody that he was going to reach out to. I haven't got a confirmation if he has or not yet.
He has not, as far as I spoke to him on the weekend.
Okay, so maybe you could kick that ball forward.
I'm really good at lighting matches these days, so why don't I do that? I'll light a fire.
There you go. It's your specialty.
Yep. Cool. Well, you're going to be on 3 shows tomorrow. Boy, I'm glad you got a new microphone. Really happy you got a new microphone.
Yeah. Busy.
Busy man. I told you the guy does not rest. He really loves to do what he does. And we love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Remember to like, follow, and share, and double check that you are still following our channel. You're not following our channel if you're not logged into your account on Rumble. So no way it can keep track of you. So if it looks like you unfollowed, first check that you're logged in, and then see if you're still following. If you're not, just hit the follow button, and you'll be following us. You don't want to miss any of the shows. We got some good stuff coming up.
And if you're live, start saying hi to the chat. We'd like to see people new in there.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. Thank you, Louis. Great job today. Appreciate you.